Hey, it's MK, and I am back with another May I Scraplift You, but this one kind of sort of got lost in my recordings, and I apologize that I'm a little bit behind on, or I never finished my May I Scraplift You series, which was actually Crystal Barrett's, not mine, but on my channel. So today I am scraplifting Melissa Vining. I found her sketch or her layout over on the Cocoa Vanilla Facebook group. I absolutely love that group, and I love pulling inspiration from that group, even though it's a little bit too florally and doily for me, if that makes any sense. So I tend to kind of sort of go a little bit more grungy than most people do, but it's what I like to do, you guys. So basically what I'm showing you is that I have already embossed all of my wood pieces. They used to be just raw wood pieces, and I've embossed them to make them look like silver metallic. I also have a few leaves cut out from my die cut machine, and then I have a little flare from the Scrap Happy Studio or Scrap In Happy Studio, and then I have just scraps for what's it called? Matting my photo. And then I have this gold piece. I was trying to get the shimmer to show you guys exactly what the gold looks like, but this is another 8.5 by 11 piece that I get from my Tonic Studio craft kit, and that is one of the reasons why I enjoy my craft kit, is because I do get little specialty papers like this, but it's not so many that I can't handle them. Anywho, I'm also using a great wood background from Simple Stories, and I'm going to do some inking inside my embossing folder. Now, this video was meant for a Take Out Your Tools Tuesday, but I have been failing miserably this month at trying to do videos. Truth be told, it is hot and miserable in my craft room. I don't feel very comfortable in there, and so my creativity kind of goes on the wayside. So little bit by little bit, I have been making videos, but I've also been organizing my space as well, trying to just be productive as possible. But when it comes to sitting down and editing a video, it just gets so hot in there. I don't know how to handle it. Now, I don't know if it's like temperature hot or if it's just because there's no airflow. I know I've mentioned this multiple times. I just, whining is over. I just am trying to explain why the videos have been so sparse lately on my channel, and I apologize about that, you guys. So anyways, first things first, I am going to ink up one side. Now, this side here happens to have the squares raised up on the embossing folder, and I'm going to try that first. I want to see what that looks like with the squares having the inking, and so it definitely does look a lot darker. And then the other side, I did the striped being the inking, and I am putting it up to my frame to see which one I like the most. Do I like it to where I can barely see any gold, or do I like it to where I can barely see any ink? And I think I'm going to go with the one where I can barely see any ink, because I definitely wanted my frame to be gold for sure. And then of course I decided to flip it over to see if I like the it's almost like a second generation stamping, to see if I wanted to use lighter ink, and that's basically all I was doing. And I took it off camera and ended up embossing my entire frame with the little inking rather than all the squares inked. So anyways, long story short, I inked up the edges because it kind of sort of looked a little like it didn't match type thing. And then I'm trimming down my photo just a little bit. I don't want to trim a whole bunch. It's just a photo of my husband's old truck. This was his favorite truck. It was a stick shift, a long bed, a diesel. I mean, everything a little man can think of and dream of. It was a big truck. In fact, I did not like driving this truck because of how long it really was. I felt like I was taking up 2 spots in a parking lot because it was just so long. And then you add a trailer to it and it's like, oh my goodness, I feel like I need a CDL just to drive this thing. Anyways, but I wanted to document it because it was his favorite truck, and it started making noise. And in all honesty, I'm to the point where, and we are to the point and to the age of, we can't afford to have our vehicles breaking down all the time and being down to just one vehicle. I know that this might just sound a little childish. I really am. I'm not trying to sound childish, but with our schedules, with our work schedules back in the day, when he had this truck, it was very critical that we needed two running vehicles. He had an opposite schedule of me, meaning I had to go to work before he did. And so that way we couldn't share a vehicle at all. I had to drive myself. He had to drive himself. And there was no way that there was, plus we were going in opposite directions. He went to, the east side of Nevada and I went to the west side. And there was just no way that we could share a vehicle and be out a vehicle should maintenance be required. And so 2 years ago, we bought myself a brand new vehicle, and that way it was fully covered under warranty, all that good jazz, right? And then later on, we were contemplating, let's pay this one off and then we'll get him a new vehicle, right? Well, it started making noise, and truth be told, I just couldn't do it anymore. So we went to the dealership, said we want another vehicle, and it was 2 years later, so it seemed at the right time. And I said, I just want new. I don't want a used truck. I just want new. And made him switch to a Duramax, and which is a Chevy, in case you guys don't call them by their engine names. We do. We're weird like that. But anyways, definitely just went in, asked for it, and bought a new truck. And for about a year, he was happy with it. He liked it. Got lots and lots of comments because, guys are weird like that. But then he fell in love with another Dodge, which again was a used Dodge, but it came with a warranty. It came with a better warranty than what the Chevy did. So with a brand new Chevy. And so we traded in again. Don't ask. Don't ask. But we did. And I just wanted to document this truck because, he drove this truck long and hard and got his money's worth out of it for sure. But I just did not want to be in the position to where we had to figure out what to do with just one vehicle. In all honesty, that's where we were at. So what did I do? What have I been doing? Oh my gosh, I've been talking about vehicles and the struggles, right? Basically what I did was I wanted a very light pattern on my gray cardstock. And what I was looking for was kind of like a black pattern, but I didn't want it to be like in your face black. And so I put this pearlescent embossing powder on, thinking that it was going to be like a black, kind of a bluey black pearl. No, it turned it all white. It's not what I wanted at all, but I went with it because that's the supplies that I pulled out. So it's a very faint, just a collage of mechanical items on my gray background. And then I am just deciding where I want all my pieces. So I knew that I wanted my little gear cluster or gear border down at the very bottom, kind of with the photo tucking in behind it. I definitely knew that that's where I wanted to go with that piece. Other than that, I had no clue. I didn't know what color I wanted to paint my leaves. I didn't know anything. So I have a few sprays hanging out on my desk already. So I thought, those will work. They're not too bluey. I didn't want them to be as minty as what is in the exam or the inspiration layout. And so I started to spray and I realized, they're going to be minty like the inspiration layout. I didn't want that. So I pulled out this olive color. And of course, I did have a few issues because these are my mica sprays and I'm having issues with the nozzles on my mica sprays lately. But I'm just working with it. I'm dealing with it. So I sprayed a little bit of olive and I absolutely loved it. And then I picked up this almost goldy color. It's like a yellowy gold mica spray. It's brand new to me. I picked it up from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club and I absolutely love it and thought I'd just do a bunch of sprinkles. Of course, the bottle was uber super full. So I spilt my first little set of it. That was my fault. But I'm using the spilled milk for just tipping in a little few bits where I thought missed some color. Not a big deal. But that's all I was trying to do. And my napkin inside my spray box definitely needs to be replaced. Now, I do have to tell you guys that once a certain type of spray, and I don't know which ones they are because I just keep spraying on top of sprays. But in my napkin, if I do not replace it every now and then, as soon as I wet it with another spray, it reactivates. And so sometimes that color pops up on on something else that I'm trying to spray. And for this instance, it's kind of like a darker maroon color that I have in there that is being reactivated. And so I have a little teeny tiny bit of dark maroon on my leaves that was not intended. But hey, happy accident, right? I learned something. All right, so now I am just trying to figure out where I want everything to go, because in all honesty, what I'm going to end up doing is gluing everything to the frame and then popping the frame up. So this layout will be quite dimensional compared to most of my layouts. Normally I just like the width of the wood veneer, but this one's going to be not only the width of the wood veneer, but then a small width of foam adhesive. But what I like about foam adhesive is it's smushy. So if my album was to get a little bit bulky, it smushes down. It doesn't smush down all the way, but it smushes down just enough to where you still see that depth and dimension, but it's not, oh my gosh, in your face, I can only put 5 layouts in an album depth and dimension. Okay, so once I figure out how I like everything and the placement of things, I am going to start gluing everything to the back or the front of the frame, just depending on where things are at. But I did find that I was missing something. So I pulled out a few of my other pieces and elements that I had cut out. And some of these leaf clusters, the larger leaf clusters, I kind of liked as well. So I'm going to spray those and get those put on the layout. But first, I'm going to finish off this upper cluster because I feel like it's done. It's complete. I just want to add a few things behind rather than in front of the gears. So I'm going to glue those down before I forget, and I'm basically going to glue down everything that's not going to be affected by the 2 new leaves that I added into my clusters. That was it. And the reason why I added those into the clusters is because I felt like I had bare spots, and the style of leaves that I initially picked out all went in one direction, but also were all kind of sort of the same shape. They didn't fan out like this one that I'm getting ready to color fans out. I don't know. Does that make sense? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's in my brain. So I decided to spray them exactly the same colors because 1, I already had them picked out, and 2, I didn't want to add a different color into my layout when I'm so far into it already. Yep. And spraying a little bit of that olive spray so they're not so minty green. But I do take the nozzle of my sprays off. I take them off of the color that they're on. I put them onto a spray bottle that is full of nothing but alcohol. It's like rubbing alcohol. And then I spray the top of my lid, my spray box, basically. And then that way I can clean out the nozzle before putting my spray back. That's all I do. It saves me some sanity of constantly cleaning out my nozzles before I can actually use my sprays. If I had to clean out my nozzles before using them every time, I probably wouldn't enjoy my sprays as often as I do. But my little hint and tip is courtesy of my husband. He's the one that came up with it and thought about an easier way for me to help keep my nozzles clean. So thank you. Anyways, getting back to gluing things back down, I am just securing those fanned out leaves a little bit better using the gears that I have. My picture is only held down by a paper clip right now. It's a little micro paper clip. It looks kind of, I don't know, it's the cutest little paper clip ever. And it is also from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club, by the way. All the rest of the elements that I am using on my layout, just to do a little shameless plug, are from my shop. I have the die cut leaves already pre-cut, ready to go if anybody would like to own some, as well as the gears. The standalone gears are their own little cluster, and then the border is as well. They're all from my shop if you guys are interested. Down below in the description box at the very, very bottom, if you scroll all the way down, you will see what's called a link tree link. And if you click that, you can find everything out about me. You can see my Pinterest, you can see my Instagram, you can see my Facebook page, as well as my Etsy shop, if you guys are interested. Just thought I'd throw that out there because I don't have anything else to talk about while I glue things down. Anyways, here in a few, I'm going to flip my entire frame over because everything is stuck to the frame. And I'm going to pull out these little strips from scrapbook.com. And they are the perfect width that matches the dimension of the wood pieces. I absolutely love these. Now, these are intended to be used for like not shadow boxes. What are they called? Shaker boxes. That's what they are intended to use for. But I enjoy using them as thin strips as well. And I'm just putting a little adhesive behind my wood veneer that is going to be glued directly to the page as well. I only popped up the corner of my photo instead of the entire photo because the wood veneer is on the bottom of my photo. So basically my photo is glued to the page, but then popped up in just one corner as well as wherever it's touching the frame. So I kind of like when layouts end up like that. I really do. Yeah. And I'm just holding them down just a little bit because the photo is trying to fight the wood glue, plus that embossing powder is kind of dimensional and I have to wait for that glue to adhere to the embossing powder. So I had to hold it down just a hair. And then these little flares by Scrap and Happy Studio, it does say on the packaging not to use liquid glue behind them. So I've just always adhered to them because I'd rather not have them ruined in any way, shape, or form because they're so cute and adorable. So I just used double-sided tape for that, and I stuck it in amongst the little gear border and a few of the leaves. And now I am going and getting some enamel dots. I had to go into my gray stash because my travel bin that I usually have, or travel container that I have on my desk, is kind of sparse lately. I am running out of enamel dots just in that container. Don't worry. I am not running out of enamel dots whatsoever. I just have to repack my travel bin. I like having a little travel bin on my desk, and then I can just grab it and go if I ever want to go to a retreat or anything like that. But I enjoy having it on my desk because I have a variety of colors to use, just like at an arm's reach instead of having to constantly go into my color bins, or I call them my bulky bins, for a specific color in my, in my area, in my craft area. So yeah, it's kind of like one of those, you stay at your seat to stay motivated to work on the page. I also grabbed some tiny words. Now these are the, I think they're called the, they're not called notebook. They're like the book words. So these are actually borrowed from specific books, according to Tim Holtz. And he even left them in the same color from what book he pulled them from. Yeah, I think I heard that somewheres or watched a video on that somewheres. But I'm just picking out a few words, basically that kind of sort of give the mood and feel of, not really missing the pickup, but enjoying the time we had with the pickup. Does that make sense? I think it's only mechanics that or car people that really care about, their past trucks and their present trucks and all that stuff. I do know that my husband was quite aside himself when it came time to give up this truck because they don't make standard trucks anymore. You have to request them, and then it's more expensive, even though it's less mechanical work. It's weird, very weird. But you can still get a stick shift truck if you guys request it from a dealership. But hey, millennials don't know how to drive them anyways. So, anyways, we're teaching our kids though. Trust me, we will teach our kids. So now I'm just going through and I'm picking random numbers. One of the things that attracted me to these particular tiny word stickers are the random numbers that are all over, and they're just page numbers from the books that he used to get the inspiration from. And I just like having them tucked all in some of the clusters, and I feel like it helps fill in some dead space that I might have had here and there and everywhere. And then the last thing that I'm going to do after I find one more number, because everything has to come in sets of 3, as soon as I find a home for it, after that I will spray some more of that honey yellow Nouveau spray. I won't spray it. I'm going to splatter it all over the layout because I think that it definitely adds to the frame. Here it is. I have to shake it up a little bit, get it going, cover my photo, and then spray it. Now, this spray is very, very, very pastel-y, and at first I thought, oh, that's not enough. I want more. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and pick up the ink and really, really pounce it hard to get those big splatters. Aside from just spilling the entire bottle on my layout, it does take some work to try and get these big splatters from this pastel, from this very pastel color. But once it's dried and ready to go, oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. It kind of looks like a Christmas layout. I probably could have changed out that photo for something Christmassy and it still would have looked great. I absolutely love how this looked. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and understanding why my videos have been so sparse lately. But I'm hoping to get a few more done and ready and available for everyone, so that way I can have a few scheduled ahead of time. But, I'm terrible about that. I can't stick to a schedule for anything. Anyways, thank you so much for letting me scraplift you today, Melissa. I really, really appreciate it. And I will check you all later. Bye.